Just don't do this.
All right, I'd like to call the February 1st regular meeting of the Police and Fire Commission to order. Let the record show Commissioners Schaaf, Roloff, Wanazek, and Goldhahn are present. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on January 5th and the amended minutes from the special meeting held November 16th. Those are all in your packet. Any questions or changes to those? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wanazek,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Schaaf. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. President's report. A change that you noticed this month is that when you get an emailed copy of the agenda, now all of the attachments will be in that as well. And those will be made public to the public, not just in our packet. So those will come out emailed to you and then also in hard copy form via the mail, hopefully.
Before they even get the attachments, so.
Yeah, before the
Immediate.
attachment just came in the mailed one, not in the mail one that's present for the media. We have the swear-in on Monday for those of us that can make it at 9 o'clock at the police station. And then just confirmed with Chief Litton that the Fire Recruit Academy kickoff is April 3rd at 8 o'clock in Station 1. That's when the new recruits start their time, and the commissioners are invited to attend that. It's kind of nice to get in to see everybody and welcome them to the force. And then he also announced that the graduation will be June 2nd. And there'll be more information on that coming out. And also at that one, we'll also recognize Commissioner Nelson for his 10 years of service. Also wanted to add that Nancy and I took part in the battalion chief interviews, and for Marion and Warren, if you get a chance to do that, I highly encourage you to do it. And I think, unless the chief objects, even if you can't be there for the whole session, so we wouldn't record your scores, but just being part of the process to see how the interviews go, the scenarios that they do. It's a real eye-opening process to see what these guys go through when we do choose those battalion chiefs. So if you get a chance in the future, I encourage you to do that. And that's the end of my report. So the next item is consideration of possible action on a request to approve the battalion chief eligibility list for 1 year beginning February 1st, 2017. I'm going to pass that out. That shows Ryan Gibbons, Eric Johnson, and Eric Jeltma used to be on the list. Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Shaw,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Roloff. No further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that has been accepted. Next item, consideration with possible action on the fire chief recommendation for the appointment of battalion chief. The commission may convene in closed session pursuant to section 19.85, paragraph 1, sub C and F, Wisconsin statutes to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. The commission may thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to section 19.85, paragraph 2, Wisconsin statutes, to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wanzak,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Roloff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're in closed session.
I'm gonna get you. I just came in today, and I just thought it might be interesting to see the topics that they're.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I know any of the presenters.
Yeah.
Ryan, I will give the closed session report, and then we'll welcome you. So while in closed session, the commission heard the chief's recommendation for the newest battalion chief appointment, and that recommendation was approved unanimously by the commission to appoint Ryan Gibbons as the newest battalion chief. Ryan, welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Why don't you give them just a brief overview of your career here, what you've done to react in the state, just very quickly, just so the commissioners that weren't there.
So I started a cadet program back in a small town in Rib Lake. I started on the fire department when I was a freshman in high school. I worked as kind of an intern there all the way through. Went to school at Fox Valley Tech right out of high school. I got my EMT. I started that actually before I was 18 years old, so I had that right away. Started on the ambulance there in my hometown. I interned and was a driver in Grand Chute, and I started here in '97, so I'm coming up on 20 years here. Went to paramedic school. That was one of the reasons I came to Green Bay, is because I wanted to work on the ambulance. So I had done that now since 2002, pretty regularly, and then about 5 years ago I started getting into the technical rescue side of things, and started through the state USAR team. There was a bunch of teams, and now it's one team, and so I was able to get into a leadership role there where I manage all the equipment and stuff for the state team. Right now is about $2.5 million worth of equipment, buying, rehabbing all that stuff and making sure it's ready to go down the road, and supplying all 150 members with all of their equipment, which then led me into the teaching side of REACT, which now I manage all of their teaching records on that side, at least up until a little while ago. So that's kind of where I am now.
So USAR, for those of you that aren't familiar, Urban Search and Rescue, you'll see, there's state teams across the country, and you'll see oftentimes an earthquake, Haiti, places like that when things go on. You'll see California TF1, or you'll see Maryland, so the state teams, so they actually can get activated, deployed anywhere in the state, but they can also get activated anywhere in the country, or go overseas. And so Ryan manages, quote, the cash or the supplies of things, in that team to get them where they need to be going, and that kind of thing. So it's had some great
Interesting. And tell me again how you were selected for that team?
Well, originally it was kind of the departments where there was, after 9/11, there was lots of teams around it. There was 20 some around the team, and then it got scaled back just because of managing that. And we were part of a regional team, and then they decided that wasn't working, and they went to one state team. So then you applied for different positions, and you could kind of pick what you wanted. And then there was actually 4 managers at that time, and I kind of took the leadership role of all 4 of those, and now I still have a couple of them. One of them has since moved on and left the department here, but there's another one from Antigo and another one from this department. And
So it's an application process, just as if you're.
They have to be recommended by the chief. The chief has to sign off on it. It has to get an application process, and they're selected. It's a competitive process.
How many from Green Bay are on that team?
I think we have 11 right now. I think.
I was right about that.
Congratulations.
Comments or questions? If not, then once again, congratulations on this well-deserved appointment.
Thank you.
That's it,
Community is
Brad.
well served.
Congrats.
All right.
See you back at the barn. Back to work.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you, Ryan.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, next item is the report of the chiefs. We'll start with fire, since we have to review some candidates for police later.
Sure, yep. Just very quickly, I already talked about the graduation and everything. Our staff is working on our annual report right now. I expect to have that out hopefully by the end of the month. It's one of those things that is manpower intensive. All of our divisions, we expect them all to contribute. And I want to just publicly thank our IT department. They've been working real hard with us to help us get some more stats and metrics to measure our service, and so they've assigned a person to us, and they've done a really good job. So it's making our annual report go a whole lot smoother now. We're not through all of the reports that we need, but what they've done so far has been great. And probably cut our effort by 100 hours at least in tabulating that report. So just wanted to say that we're real happy with them. And the only other thing is we're working still hard. I mentioned this before. It's been a long time coming. We're still working on the rank academies. As you know, in Green Bay, we promote by seniority, at least in the fire department. That's the way the contract reads right now. I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to get that change in the contract, though I will continue to try. And I'm not afraid to say that publicly. they know it. So, in lieu of that, one of the ways that we can help to prepare our people, rather than on the day that somebody moves up and hand them kind of the key to the car and say, okay, now you're a lieutenant, now you're a captain, we're developing rank academies, and it's being driven by, the guys on the floor, the guys that have been there before. They all know what it feels like to walk into that office on the first day and have no clue about what they're doing. And that's what's happened here historically for 150 years. And so I've got them driving a bus right now on developing a program of what they need to know in advance of getting to that program. So we develop JPRs, or job performance requirements. We have a booklet on that for every rank. The captain one is due in my office on March 1st, so they have one more month. I have been beating pretty hard. And these guys are volunteering to do this, and they're doing a really good job of it. And then we're going to incorporate the JPRs along with just kind of leadership things and managing personnel, managing conflict. We're going to turn it into probably a 40-hour class, maybe 60. I don't know exactly yet. And give them the tools that they need so that prior to them walking into those positions, they'll at least have had at least this minimum amount of training. Because, quite honestly, 20 years ago, they didn't have a requirement to have an associate's degree to get on here. You had a high school diploma or a GED and you came on, and many people were not encouraged to go forward and continue their education. And unfortunately, at the time now, you got to have an associate's degree to get on here, and we're constantly pushing people to go to school. So, that was just the culture at the time, 20 years ago, and we can't fault them for that, but I am going to give them the tools to be successful when they move up. And so captains one is first, and lieutenants, I'm going to do one for the engineers. And then lastly, I'll do one for the battalions. There's the group of 6 battalions are working on their stuff as well. That's not as critical. I've said it before, I'll say it again. What our captains and lieutenants, the decisions that they make in the first 2 minutes on any incident, whether it's a disgruntled citizen, just an angry citizen, or it's a medical call or an accident or a fire, the decisions that those officers make in the first 2 minutes make this go either really well for us or really bad. And of course, I want it to go really well. And so we're going to we're going to do some of these pressure situations on tactical things, and so we're going to do a lot of different things to give them the tools in advance of seeing things. So we've been working on this a year and a half now. It's coming to the final close, and I'm getting excited to get it. As soon as it is readily out, I'll make sure that we can show you the program and what we're doing. So it's in the works, getting there.
Do you ever get people that turn down a promotion?
Yeah, people sign off. I wouldn't say regularly, but there are those individuals that are just not meant to be in a position of being an officer. They don't want to be there. So we'll have a list. Right now we probably have 7 or 8 guys that don't want to be lieutenants, so they just stay in engineer ranks. So that means they never act up, they'll never be promoted. If they ever come off that list, there's a year period before they can actually then become a lieutenant. So I use that year to put them through this rank academy. And a few captains, there are a few captains that have signed off on me kind of working up as a battalion chief. Just it happens, people don't want to. Although I will tell you that the culture is changing and people are more and more interested in being in those positions, and I think that's a good thing.
Okay. And so there's no problem with people bogging up the flow of
No,
what?
you just go right past them if they don't want to be there. There are just those individuals that just are not, they know that they're not cut out for it, and there might be great engineers and terrible lieutenants, and so I'd rather have a great engineer than a terrible lieutenant.
Very good. That's all. Anything else? Any other questions for the chief? Let me bounce down to agenda item 10. Next meeting, Thursday, March 2nd, 3 o'clock. Does that work for everybody? Commissioners? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate you taking care of our list and doing that process. I know it's a lot of time, so we do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chief, I ran into the parents of our top candidate that we hired.
Okay.
They were very happy that their son was
Awesome.
proud parents.
That's always a good day, especially at graduation when you get to see them. That's a really good day. So. And thanks to Janet and Mel for helping us do all these processes. They put a lot of time into this stuff, so we appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Smith, you're on.
Well, it being February 1st, and this being the one-year anniversary of my being hired, I'm officially off probation. You can see my Thank you. You can see my punctuality already suffered today, and I need to put HR notice that it's no more Mr. Nice Guy, okay? I've had a-
We're glad you came back from LA.
Yes,
Yeah.
83 degrees yesterday when I was out there, day before when I was out there, yeah.
How could you stand it?
Yeah, I know. We're sitting out in short sleeves at a table, picnic table. I'm thinking, what am I, crazy? Yes. But anyway, so I'm back. It was a quick turnaround. I had to do a eulogy for a classmate of mine who passed away. So it was just kind of a sad time, but good to see some of my pals there again. With respect to crime, our final numbers for last year, we were within, by our estimate, 4 crimes different from 2016 versus 2015. So we're gonna wait through those crimes to go through Madison. They double check everything and it'll come back. I think we're estimating high, so I think we'll end up with a little bit of a crime reduction overall. This year, the only thing that's up, the only area that's up is thefts. We had 133 thefts already this year. It's up 16% over our 5-year average. It's up 30% over last year. And it's just retail thefts, little things, kids stealing candy out of stores that they're taking reports on. I think a lot of it is narcotics addicts who steal anything like the Crest white strips you saw. I think that particular person stole $6,000 worth of Crest white strips. So that's
They
a
get
lot
buy
of,
on them
that's
or
some
they
white
sell 'em?
teeth. What they do is they sell them. You buy them for $50 retail. You'll sell them in the neighborhood for 20, or on Craigslist or wherever she can for 20. So we kind of know who that was, and hopefully we'll be able to tie that thing up pretty quickly. But that's one that's really vexing us right now, is the plain old thefts. Not a sexy crime, but it's just what's driving all our numbers.
And now the thefts would be retail thefts, not burglaries.
That's total thefts, yeah, not burglaries, it's
Okay.
just total thefts. So it'd be, somebody steals something out of your car, somebody takes your hose out of your yard, bicycles, which we haven't lost any this year, but any kind of theft, retail theft being the biggest percentage of that.
Those scams that are on the telephone, do you get the calls for those?
We get calls from them, but they don't track them as a Part 1 crime, but we do get calls for those. Did you see Paul Rubus? I was just getting interviewed by him.
His
He
article.
keeps the guy on the line and tortures him.
Playing along.
Okay, I'm headed to you. He had this whole big thing. He was in a wheelchair. He was going to tell him, I'm stuck in the snow. There's a police officer. I'll flag him down. But anyway, so yeah, we get those. We get reports of those, but we don't really. They don't get charged as crimes. You have the swearing in. I think that's going to be Monday, so you're good on that. We did select 2 mental health officers, which we've selected Cammie Allen, used to be Cammie Kruger, and Barb Gerardin, who are going to be great. I think everybody's happy about it. They just did a presentation to the County Board of Supervisors. I think they're all happy about it. So having those mental health officers will hopefully cut down on the number of those emergency medical detentions that we have to do.
So how will that work? Are they on regular shifts?
Yeah, we have them working together on a midday watch, so they come in around 10, and they'll go out, and we can adjust their shifts based on the number of calls, but we found that the bulk of the calls that we get are in that time period. My perfect scenario is one day there'll be a clinician paired with each of them, so we'll have 2 teams out there, and then they can stagger their hours even more, maybe a little bit of overlap during the middle of the day, have one out in the evenings, which would be even better for us. But this county's not giving up the personnel for that yet. Horse detail has gone dark, meaning we don't have anybody doing anything with the horses until the weather gets a little bit warmer, but we did take delivery of 2 saddles today, which are just gorgeous black saddles with nickel trim on it. They say GBPD on them. You're going to love them when you see them. And if you come to the swearing in, I'll make sure they say them so you can check them out. I know one of you may be interested in that. The rest of you probably don't care. I know Ron wants to see this. We're still working on sergeants. I'm hoping that we can have sergeants on our police department this year. We're meeting later on this week with personnel and with the folks from the union to try and hammer out any little details that are left. I think everybody thinks it's a good idea. The council's behind it, but we just have to trit the lieutenants out. So when we trit those lieutenants out, we'll have room for sergeants, so we can make them. I'm hoping we can make 1 or 2 hopefully this year, and hopefully sooner rather than later. And then the annual report is something that we're working on. That's going to be coming out probably, we'll get the stats next week, as I mentioned, so probably a week or so after that we'll have that put together. There's a lot of really neat stuff on there, from new equipment that we had to changes in the org chart to the stuff that personnel helped us with, or human resource helped us, which was the game changer for us, is getting that contract signed, getting our officers, especially the younger officers that are just starting the pay raise so that we can attract better officers, and getting rid of that old seniority system that's plaguing his department right now. But for us, it's been great. You know, we picked the best person for the job now. It's really making a big difference for us, so really happy with that. And that's kind of it in a nutshell, unless you have any questions about anything.
Are you hearing a lot of concerns with immigration?
Yeah, I've been asked to do a couple of little presentations. I did a little thing on the radio the other day, and I've been asked to go talk at St. Willowbrook, which I will do again. I'm part of the Law Enforcement Immigration Task Force, which is a nationwide group of law enforcement chiefs and sheriffs, and it's basically to come up with what law enforcement's posture is. I don't see much changing for us. We already cooperate with immigration when they're going after people. The only time they come here is when they have lists of people that have warrants, and the warrants aren't for immigration, they're for committing crimes and being an illegal person here. So we cooperate with them. They come a couple times a year, and they have a list of people, and they go to a house, and we're looking for so-and-so, and they take him. They don't ask other people their status, and they take them away. I don't see right now us doing a bunch more besides that. They asked me to weigh in on the refugee thing, and I said I don't really think it's a police concern. Who they decide to admit is up to our political leaders and up to the guys at Customs and Immigrations. It's not up to local law enforcement about refugees, so I didn't want to comment on that. I didn't think it appropriate that we comment on that. So I know there were some concerns about the Muslim community up here at the mosque. They had some concerns after that shooting up in Canada. We had already met with them a couple months ago, and I sat down with the leaders there, and I've seen them at other meetings since and let them know that where they're from. They didn't have any concerns then. Sent my guys out there again to get a chance to talk to them and stuff. So, that's kind of it.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you. Next agenda item is consideration of possible action on the review of patrol officer candidates. The commission may convene in closed session pursuant to sections 19.85, paragraph 1, sub C and F, Wisconsin statutes to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. The commission may thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to section 19.85, paragraph 2, Wisconsin statutes to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wozniak, seconded by Commissioner Shaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're in closed session. While in closed session, we reviewed 3 candidates, 2 of whom were rejected, and the third one was determined to continue in the process. Next agenda item is consideration with possible action on the following communications: the budget status report and the budget spreadsheet. Those came in your materials, all relative to the firefighter backgrounds and the drug screen and physicals for the patrol officers that we're writing in. Any questions?
On our budget, we're on the annual year calendar.
Yes.
Does it say that we use 93%? Am I reading that wrong?
This is through, let's see.
I'm on the little sheet.
25/7. I think that's year to date, and
I'm reading.
that's with the 3,300, let me just look here.
Doesn't it say we used the last column?
Percentage used 93.6.
Yeah, it looks like it didn't reset.
Right.
Yeah, it's 16.
So the one in
So this is
February
wrong.
should reflect.
Just take it.
Well, it hasn't reset yet, because they probably hadn't entered all of our
Closing
payments.
up the year.
They're both.
Okay.
Year end.
Okay, it did make sense.
Yes, good question.
Okay, any other questions?
I just want to let you know that.
I just want to understand this report, this commission budget. Rod, that 23,205 number at the bottom, does that show a deficit in the budget, or is that just all of the accumulated expenses?
That's all of the accumulated expenses.
And so we're within like $100, is that what I'm seeing there? Because it talks about balance on the right column.
Yes, but if you recall, we added some money to it
Right.
the year from.
Yep.
3,300?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was that, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And then that'll reflect back on the other page that shows the original budget and year-to-date items.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to receive and place those on file.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Shaw,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Roloff. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and then the last item was the three bills, again, all in reference to the physical and drug screen and site exam, or site evaluations for candidates. Questions? Hearing none. Just take a motion to authorize payment.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wanzak,
Second.
second by Commissioner Shaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pay the bills. All right. We already talked the next meeting, Thursday, March 2nd, 3 p.m. Sure. All right. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wanzak,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Roloff. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.